This Black History Month, Richmond Library Service have some great recommendations for teens and young adults. We've got something for everyone, from graphic novels to fantasy to romance, we've got you covered. All these books are available to borrow from our libraries, and many are also available via our digital libraries as either ebooks or e-audiobooks. The first one on the list is Friendship Never Ends by Alexandra Sheppard. It's a hilarious book told from 4 perspectives. For the first time, these best friends are split up over the summer. Sunita is off to France with her mum's boyfriend's posh family. Gifty is going to Scotland to see her grandparents, who she hasn't seen for years. Dawn is heading to musical theatre school in London, and May is staying behind to work in her parents' Chinese takeaway. But whilst they're away from their hometown in Kent, their internet connection is spotty, so the friends write postcards to each other instead. I loved that every chapter started with a new letter from one friend to another. This book kept making me laugh out loud, especially Sunita, who is the joker of the group and always makes her friends chuckle. Alexandra Sheppard has also written Oh My Gods, which you can borrow if you enjoy Friendship Never Ends. Next up is The Gilded Ones and the rest of the series by Namina Forna. I've only read the first one, but I'm very excited to read the Merciless ones too, because this is such a vivid fantasy world filled with adventure and excitement on every page. The following book, the third in the trilogy, The Eternal Ones, isn't out yet, but I'm sure it'll be brilliant too. It's released next year in 2024. The Gilded Ones follows the life of 16-year-old Dacre as she is ostracised from her village for being gold-blooded and therefore impure. They jail her and try many methods to kill her, but she just won't die. She's rescued from her fate by a mysterious woman who gives her the option to learn to fight the creatures who have been destroying villages and killing innocent people. Dacre is wary, but really, she has no choice. When she joins this new army, she discovers that she's not the only one who's different, and perhaps being a mortal has its perks after all. There are some incredible battle scenes in this novel, and I love the side characters just as much as the feisty and strong Dacre. Murder mystery is one of our most popular genres at the library, and Friends Don't Tell by Grace Francis and Nadia Mendoza is fantastic. It's thrilling and a page-turner, but it also talks about more serious topics such as grief and mental health. The plot goes something like this. Jade and Lexi spent an amazing weekend together at the Get Lost Music Festival, but only Lexi came home. 1 year later, and Lexi is struggling with her OCD, her friendships, and her guilt. When she finds a note next to Jade's grave, Lexi begins to suspect that Jade's death wasn't an accident. She's sure someone wanted to hurt Jade, and she's suspicious of the friends they made at the festival. No more spoilers, so you'll have to read it to find out more. The next few recommendations are actually novels in verse, which is one of my favourite genres as they're quick and easy to read, but they pack a real punch. Speaking of punches, Punching the Air by E.B. Zoboi and Yusef Salaam is the incredible story of Amal Shahid, who is wrongly accused of a crime and sent to prison. Despair and rage almost sink him until he turns to the refuge of his words, his art. This never should have been his story, but can he change it? One of the authors, Yusef Salaam, is a reform activist as he was wrongly sent to prison as a teenager as one of the Central Park Five who were accused of raping a woman in Central Park in 1989. He spent 7 years in prison, and following his release, he became a politician, motivational speaker, and activist. This isn't his memoir, but it's got heart and soul that can't help but make you think. 2 more novels in verse are The Poet X and Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Both of these are fantastic stories told in an accessible format. The Poet X is about Ziamara, who has plenty she wants to say, and she pours all her frustration and passion onto the pages of a leather notebook, especially after she catches feelings for a boy in her biology class named Aman, who her family can never know about. With Mammy's determination to force her daughter to obey the laws of the church, Ziamara understands that she has to keep her feelings to herself. When she's invited to join her school's slam poetry club, she can't stop thinking about performing her poems, because in the face of a world that may not want to hear her, Ziamara refuses to be silent. This is such a great read, which I've actually read as part of a teen book club. We all loved it and it inspired us to write our own poetry. Clap When You Land is quite different. It follows the story of two girls who suddenly discover they are half sisters when their father, who'd been keeping them a secret from each other, dies in a plane crash. One of the girls lives in America and one of them lives in the Dominican Republic. It's a beautiful and lyrical portrayal of grief and the impact that family can have on your life. I highly recommend all of these novels in verse, but if you're new to the genre, The Poet X is a great place to start. This graphic novel is the perfect read for the end of this month because it's Halloween themed. It's a cute, cozy romance set in a pumpkin patch with a black bisexual main character. And it's just really heartwarming and sweet, and it's a book you can just read in a couple of hours. It's a great one. If you like romance, then this is the one for you. Talia Hibbert is most well known for her excellent adult romances, but this new release, Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, is for young adults, and it's a wonderful story. Bradley, our male main character, is pretty much perfect. He's a star football player, he manages his OCD pretty well, and comes out on top in all his classes, except the ones he shares with his ex-best friend, Celine. Celine is conspiracy theory obsessed, and she's got a big social media following where she shares her opinions. But she's still somehow not cool enough for the popular kids' table, which is why she thinks that Bradley abandoned her for the in crowd years ago. So when Celine signs up for a survival course in the woods, she's surprised to find Bradley right beside her. Forced to work as a team for the chance to win a grand prize, these two teens must trudge through not just mud and dirt, but their messy, complicated past. And as this adventure brings them closer together, they begin to remember the good bits of their history. But has too much time passed? Or just enough to spark a whole new kind of relationship? This is a best friends to lovers, enemies to lovers story that will make your heart flutter. For the creative people out there who love reading about fellow artists, Felix Ever After is a great read. It has the most stunning cover, and some editions even have flowers on the sprayed edges. Felix Love has never been in love, even with a surname like that. He desperately wants to know what it's like and why it seems so easy for everyone but him to find someone. What's worse is that even though he's proud of his identity, Felix also fears that he's one marginalisation too many, black, queer, and transgender, to ever get his own happily ever after. When an anonymous student begins sending him transphobic messages and doing other horrible transphobic stuff, Felix comes up with a plan for revenge. But what he didn't count on, his catfish scenario landing him in a quasi-love triangle. But as he navigates his complicated feelings, Felix begins a journey of questioning and self-discovery that helps redefine his most important relationship, how he feels about himself. This is a lovely coming-of-age story, and it's great for anyone who's questioning their identity. Blackout and Whiteout are two short story collections written by a whole host of excellent authors: Donielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. If you like romance, but also a book you can just pick up on the go and read in quick, digestible stories, these are the ones for you. The characters are intertwined, but each chapter can also stand alone. I loved both books, and they're just so sweet and heartwarming, featuring a wide cast of characters from every background. I've spoken a little bit about them in my LGBT plus History Month video, which I'll link below if you want to find out more. So that's all of my personal recommendations, but I do have a few more for you from my fellow librarians. The Boy Lost in the Maze is another verse novel, and it's by Joseph Coelho, the Children's Laureate. And in this book, he brilliantly blends Greek myth with the 21st century quest. The next one is a comedy book by Alex Wheatle. Whelton Blake has done it. He's asked out Carmela Mackenzie, the best-looking girl in school, and she's only gone and said yes. But just as he thinks his luck is starting to change, Whelton's phone breaks, kickstarting a series of unfortunate and humiliating events. Published by Barrington Stoke, this book is dyslexia friendly. Another one for Halloween, The Haunting of Tyrese Walker by J.P. Rose. This is perfect for horror lovers this month. So, after a shocking event leaves Tyrese struggling with grief, he's taken to visit family in Jamaica. From the first night, strange things start happening: impossible visions, blackouts, swarms of insects, and the discovery of a grave hidden deep in the forest. Tyrese can't explain what's going on, and he's scared that he's losing his grip on reality. And the last one that I'm recommending is Forever Ends on Friday by Justin A. Reynolds. This book is smart, funny, and powerful. It's got a speculative twist in which Jamal's best friend is brought back to life after a freak accident, but they only have a short time together before he will die again. I really want to read this one. Well, that's all of my recommendations. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy these books if you do decide to borrow them. And if you've got any more recommendations, please do comment below. I'd love to hear from you.